And so, just taking a few breaths to arrive. If you have a breathing practice where you like to focus on your breath, you can do that this evening. Or if you're feeling particularly stressful, you might just use your breath as a support to just breathe out any stress or tension you're noticing. And again, just with a very gentle attitude. We don't need to be averse to what's here. There's a good reason why our body, heart, and mind are like this today. We gently remind ourselves that it's temporary. It'll be different in an hour. And just noticing what that's like, to just notice that it'll be temporary. That may bring some ease or perhaps some grasping. If there's any tension, you can just gently breathe it out on the out breath. And with our breathing out, we're just gently emptying out the day. All the extra energy and tension we've accumulated over these hours, just letting it go. And in doing so, we are allowing ourselves to come back to our natural mind. The mind that is open and spacious. It doesn't cling to anything. And as you empty out, you might take a moment to notice any place where there's some quiet or spaciousness. It might be in the background, behind all the noise, or underneath. all the noise. Or there may just be a quiet, comfortable space inside your body. Or perhaps you notice the quiet in the room. There's quiet spaciousness in the room. Wherever you notice this quiet, just allow yourself to begin breathing into it. Just allowing it to come into focus. So you're giving most of your attention to the quiet and just letting sounds and sensations kind of fade to the background. Taking a moment to notice the ease or the stillness. Just having 90% of our attention on the quiet or stillness, and then just a little bit of attention. You can notice sounds or sensations. They're fading in the background. And take a moment to just anchor this quiet. And so we do this by just gently breathing it through our body. Just allowing the quiet to touch our muscles, our organs. Just breathing it down through our torso, into our legs and feet. Our arms and hands. Or you can imagine breathing the quiet into yourself, letting your cells saturate in peace and ease. And in this way, we come to embody quiet. Embody our essential nature. That which is beyond all the noise. Peaceful and at ease. Peace and ease in ourselves. Even if the world is noisy. Coming home to ourself. So you can take a moment to bring yourself gently back to the room. So this month, we said that we would focus on essence and talking about some different ways to access it and explore it and live with it. And so last week, we talked about essence as a refuge, the idea of coming here in the middle of the storm, in the eye of the hurricane, and how peaceful and nourishing that can be, particularly during times of stress. And if you are interested in that talk, you can find it on my website, maureenbalancer.com, or the YouTube channel for True Success for All. And this week, we're going to focus on essence in a different way. So this week, we're going to focus on essence as freedom, as a sense of freedom, which is always feels lovely, feels quite buoyant in a lot of ways, very different than the refuge access. So the first way I wanted to talk about essence, and I'm doing this because people have different ways of finding essence. Sometimes I say, "Oh, drop back into the quiet," and people say, "I can't find the quiet. I haven't quite got there yet." So I'm just going to be looking at it from different access points, and maybe one of them will work for you, and you get to say, "Ah, that's my way of finding it." So the first access point that I wanted to talk about tonight, and this is a joyful one, is when we access essence through play and freedom. And so this is where, when we're having like one of those perfect moments in life, or, if you're a great skier, or you love drawing, you love doing art or painting, or maybe you love writing, or programming. And there's this place where we get in the zone. And when we're in that zone, it's quite magical. I was talking to somebody who's a rock climber, and he was telling me, he said, when I rock climb, it's the only time that my mind stops. And there's this amazing place that opens for me. And it's the only time I feel at home on the planet. Um, I remember Michael Phelps one time said that the only time he ever felt at home on the planet was when he was in a pool, when he was swimming. So we have these special places, these special ways that we access them. And what's really powerful about them is that in those moments, we do stop and drop the story. We kind of get in that zone of concentration. We're not thinking anymore. We're not worried about what we're going to make for dinner, those kinds of things. Um, and so there is a peace that comes with it that's quite beautiful. We get a break from our own mind. We also have this feeling of sometimes feeling like as if we've dropped into our true nature. So a lot of times, when I said Michael Phelps said, I don't feel quite at home until there's that moment that we find the zone that we love, and we open to what feels more like our natural self. And this is an aspect of essence. Our true nature, for me, our true nature is our essence flowing through our humanity. So, essence flowing through riding a horse, or essence flowing through painting, or essence flowing through skiing, or running, or whatever it might be, taking care of somebody. You may be a lovely caretaker, and when you're taking care of people, your heart just opens, and you're in your true nature. You're in your essence in those moments. The other beautiful thing about that, being in those zones, is that we also access being very present. Our mind doesn't go to the future and the past. And we often find a lot of joy in that moment, right? We're just right here and we're loving it. Like if you're a caretaker, I don't know, maybe you're a daycare teacher. And when you're with kids playing on the floor, you're just absolutely present in that moment. And there's so much joy flowing through your body. And so it's like the refuge piece in that it's here, but it's not that quiet here of the storm going around. It's a here of joy and a here of just beauty and awe. It happens when, um, if you're weaving, some people are weaving and doing some kind of creativity. And it also happens in moments of incredible beauty, right? So you turn the corner and you see a sunset that just takes your breath away. And for one moment, your mind stopped and something comes forward and just meets that sunset. And there's just this beautiful, quiet being in that moment. Or you see a baby being born, or you meet your grandchild for the first time. And there's that moment where there's just warmth, there's just that love, right? So what I want to do is play with this tonight. Some of you may say, I don't know if I've touched this, and I'm sure you have in some way. So what I want to do this evening is do 2 exercises with you that just open up this more freedom variation of essence, that get us in touch with this part of ourselves. So for the first one, we're just going to go back inside, and I'm just going to walk you through just some nice memories, some beautiful memories that will hopefully open you up a little bit. So you can just take a moment to find your seat again or lay down if that's how you're doing it this evening. And just take a couple of clearing breaths, just letting go. Letting go of my words for a moment. And I'm just going to ask you to recall a time when you are really happy in your body. Really happy in your body. It doesn't have to be the greatest, happiest moment of all, but just really happy. And it could be, dancing or riding your bike. Could be creating something with your hands or gardening, singing, skiing. And I want you to imagine yourself doing it for a moment. And so just really imagine yourself doing it. And I'm going to even encourage you to even let your body move with it. Like if you're skiing, imagine you're skiing down the mountain. Or if you're gardening, imagine you're gardening and just let your body get into it for a moment. And everybody's eyes are closed. So this is just a personal experience. And let the joy come to you. You might even have a smile on your face. And take a moment to really embody it for just a moment, as if you're doing it. And I want you to notice as you're doing this movement, who are you when you take this on? Don't think, just feel it. Who are you when you're doing this? Notice how different you might feel from your ordinary life. And just let yourself be that different person for a moment. When you're doing this, for instance, notice the quality of your mind. Is your mind busy, thinking a lot, worried, or perhaps quiet, maybe joyful and at ease? Don't think about it too much. Just notice the mind goes here, does this when I'm doing this. And notice, how present are you? Are you present in this movement, this movement? How present are you in your body? Perhaps you feel very embodied. This is a doorway to opening our essence through the body. We begin being very alive and playful, and essence naturally opens. So you can just take another moment to feel the joy of this happy activity. Feeling your centeredness, your essence. So different from ordinary mind. And then you can let that go and just do a couple of clearing breaths. And now I'm going to ask you to imagine when you're happy in your mind. So when is there something that you do with your mind that makes you so happy? It might be some kind of tinkering or building or figuring something out, programming. It may be when your mind is doing absolutely nothing and you love to just rest and let your mind get drifty, not really thinking about anything. Or perhaps reading. And again, imagine yourself doing it just for a moment. Imagine you're in this wonderful place and doing one of your favorite things with your mind. You may be smiling, enjoying it. And again, notice, who are you when you take this on? You may be different or a different person when you do this from your ordinary mind. Again, taking a moment to just noticing the quality of how you are when you're doing this. Noticing the quality of your mind. Is it worried and busy? Or more happily focused? Or perhaps very quiet and still? Just noticing that. Some of us contact our essence through our mind. When we're in our mind, we feel the most me, the most at home. Oh, this is who I am when I'm happy thinking. Notice the peace and tranquility or the joy. Touching our essential nature this way. Noticing the mind of essence. Different than ordinary mind. More embodied and focused. And then you can go ahead and let go of that. And again, just taking 2 clearing breaths. And then taking a moment to recall when your heart is happy. What makes your heart happy? Maybe playing with children, or sharing love, or perhaps being out in nature, or taking care of loved ones, or animals. And taking a moment to just imagine yourself doing this thing that makes your heart so happy. And really take it on, like embody it for a moment. Imagine you're doing it. You're walking out in the woods, or you're playing with your beloved, or you're taking care. Feeling the joy and the love coursing through you. Your heart opens. There's so much joy and ease, love. And again, just noticing, who are you when you take this on? How are you when you take this on? Notice the person you are now. Notice the quality of joy. Notice the quality of your mind. Is it worried, busy? Or is it more light, playful, at ease? And how present are you? Are you very present, or are you thinking a lot about the past or future? And then you can just take a moment to just breathe that joy or that love through your body into your cells for a moment, just to saturate with it. Oh, this is who I am when I'm in my heart, opening my essence through the heart. So hopefully one of those doorways gave you a little taste of an opening into that which is more than just our ordinary mind. I often find that when people are in touch with these joyful, loving parts of themselves, that you may have noticed in one of them, at least, if not all of them, that there was a sense of being more embodied, that it's a way of dropping out of the head and kind of into experience more. And so I'm moving more embodied. I'm not up in my head thinking so much, right? We often find that we are present moment oriented. I'm just with the trees. I'm just with my craft. I'm just with my music. I'm just here. I'm not choo, 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 all over the place, right? We also become very sensory oriented. So it's like we start feeling the world through our body and our senses more. So we really are taking in scents. We really are seeing colors. We are hearing the bird sounds. And so we're much more sensory oriented rather than thinking oriented. And that is so nourishing, to be sensory oriented, right? That's what that rock climber was saying to me. It's like my mind shuts off, and for a few hours, I'm just here and I'm in my body and I feel my muscles as I'm pulling up, and it's so nourishing to be that much connected to yourself without all your thoughts and judgments, the usual things. We often find that we're also more at ease, more joyful, more peaceful. There's just more positive kinds of nourishing feelings that happen. So if, again, I'm just offering many different doorways here because there are many different minds. And you may find, like, I'll just make something up. If I offer 10 different ways, you may resonate with 9 of them, or you may only resonate with 3 of them. But it's just whether or not you find your way. There's no one right way. If you're a body oriented person, chances are it's going to be easier for you to touch essence through your body. If you're a mind oriented person, you may not find it through the body so much, but you find it in the mind. So there's not a right way, there's just your way. And I'm just hoping that you come into trusting your way of finding it. And then just breathing it through your cells, expanding it, noticing the quality of mind. Oh, I'm like this. So different than my ordinary mind. How beautiful. Yeah. Ordinary mind usually too busy worrying and judging and not feeling very good about itself. So I just want to read this quote that I came across. And I thought, oh, this fits perfectly since I'm in Cambridge right now. So it's from Henry David Thoreau. I thought, oh, this is great. He said, "Many men go fishing all their lives without knowing that it's not fish they are after. Many men go fishing all their lives without knowing that it's not fish that they are after, right? If you ever read A River Runs Through It, right? Those kinds of books, or The River Why, and the way that these men fishing describe this present moment, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them talking about essence. It's so beautiful. That's why I have to get out every weekend to do this. It's the only place I know where to touch it. And I'm hoping that we find lots of places to touch it, right? So then I just wanted to show you one other short one. And this is just an ordinary mind. We're not going to go deep or anything. You don't have to sit. But this is where we'll end up using the pen and paper. And so this is just a reflection exercise. And this is the other place that we can find essence is in these beautiful moments when we are outside of our conditioning. Something happens in our conditioning for a moment, pops or breaks down. Sometimes it comes in suffering. You know, some people will say, I was at the end of my rope, I was suffering, I gave up. And then suddenly there was just all this ease and wonder and beauty, and it was amazing, right? All that's happened is in that moment, you know, ordinary mind has collapsed and essence has kind of stepped through outside the story, outside the conditioning. So I'm just going to do just a short reflection, 3 little short reflections, and just have you write something down at the end of each one. So just close your eyes for just a moment. This is just ordinary consciousness, not a lot of deep mindfulness at the moment. I'm just going to invite you to think of, I'm just going to call up 3 of your happiest moments in life. And they don't have to be the happiest. Don't go, oh my God, was that the happiest? No, just a really great moment. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes and think of the first one. Just a great moment, like maybe one of the greatest moments of your life so far. And just take a moment to recall it. You may have been a small child. It may have been, you know, holding your firstborn child. Who knows what it is? A day you were riding a horse and it was just perfect. But one of your happiest moments. And I want you to just feel it, feel the joy, the freedom. That was so great. And what I want you to notice is, what did it mean, that moment, that day? What meaning did you make in that moment? Something became known and true. Like, because of this, I now know. I knew in that moment. And whatever it meant to you. And then go ahead and take a moment to just jot that down. Not a big story, just 3 or 4 words to help you remember. Oh yeah, it meant this. And then go ahead and close your eyes again. And now I want you to think of another great moment of your life. Another great moment. Can be completely different from the first one. Different age, different time, different experience. That was another great moment. And then again, what did it mean? What did you know in that moment? In that moment, I knew. And then go ahead and write that one down. Again, just a couple of words. And then just one last time, another great moment, a different moment. Another great moment of my life. Could be alone, could be with people. And in that moment, it meant, oh, in that moment, I knew. And then go ahead and write that one down. And so what I'm going to do here is I just want to take just a moment, a minute or so, and just have you guys share just your three meanings. You don't have to tell us, not the story behind it, not the memory. Just unmute yourself, take a moment and say, I had this meaning, and this meaning. And just what happens right there.
A part of.
Being a part of.
Being a part of, and a connection, and an okayness.
Yeah, like good enoughness, okayness.
Okayness. It's like it's going to be all right.
Oh, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it is okay. It's going to be okay. You don't have to worry about anything.
I love it. Yeah, so connection, belonging, it's going to be okay. Beautiful. Thank you. And again, taste these for yourself. How about somebody else?
Hi, Mari.
Yeah.
Belonging, possibility, and peace.
Possibility, and what was the last one?
Peace.
Peace. Yeah. So just again, feeling that. Oh, belonging, possibility, and peace. And let yourself really feel it. It's like, how does that make your body and your mind feel when you hear these kinds of words? Yeah. How about maybe two more people?
Exhilaration, unconditional love, achievement, and connection.
I love it. Achievement, connection, unconditional love. Isn't this a wonderful life to live in? This sounds great. Great. And how about one more?
I had unconditional love, laughter, acceptance.
I love it. That's beautiful. Unconditional love, laughter, acceptance. So, and if there's somebody else who just has to go, you can go too. If there's somebody who's like, no, I got to share mine. If there's one more. Somebody else wants to. Okay, go ahead. One more.
Easy to build anything, boundless energy, vastness of capability.
I love it. So easy to build anything, vastness of capability, right? So as we're listening to these and you read through them, what I want to point out is that these were all moments that your conditioning fell away and your essence broke through. And in that moment, there was belonging, everything's going to be okay, vastness of capability, peace. Listen to these words that we're using. They're all the words we've had with essence before, right? And so what's so beautiful about this moment is that when you step outside your conditioned script, the one that says you're not good enough, you don't belong, nobody likes you, you can't do it, right? That's so oppressive. It's so oppressive. It makes us so small. And instead, in these happy moments, essence broke through. And it was like, that is not the truth. I can do anything. I do belong. I am good enough. It's going to be okay. And so this is a wonderful way to get in touch with who you really are outside of who they told you to be. And so I just want you to put a little star by this one because you could go home and do some more of it. Go think of other happy moments. What did it mean? The meaning was some kind of truth came through. The truth is I'm more than I know. I'm capable more than I know. I belong more than I know. Even when we're standing there and we're doing release work and we're lonely in the schoolyard and we have a little formation that's like, I don't belong. If we step back into essence, I always ask, is essence feeling I don't belong? And the answer is always no. Essence is like standing there going, I'm okay. I got this. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to step back into Essence over this last week as I've been here in Boston, with this care from my dad. There's been many moments I've had to like step back, and Essence is like, I got this. Like, it's, Maureen Inc. is freaking out, and Essence is like, nope, I got this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, breathe in. I was working with somebody earlier this week who said that their trigger phrase for it was, there's nothing to fix here. And as soon as they hear those words, there's nothing to fix, they fall back into their own essence. They fall back into the vastness that is big enough to hold it. Yeah. So when we step outside our conditioning, there's our essential nature. Waiting, joyful, bubbly, happy, ready to live, ready to have some fun. So, yeah. So these are just a couple of things to play with. So I'm just going to encourage you to keep playing with this. Maybe do this a few more times. Happiest moments of my life. What did I know? What did it mean? And then take that list that you're making of all the meanings and hang that somewhere, like on your mirror or something, for a week. And it just says, I belong. I'm capable. It's going to be okay. Peace. And just read it once in a while and remind yourself, oh yeah, that's who I am in my essential nature. Oh yeah, that's who I am underneath all this fear and all this conditioning. And so I hope you have a lot of fun with that, because it's incredibly freeing to be free of our conditioning. It feels amazing to come home to ourselves. So I hope you have fun with that exercise. Yeah, so let's just take a moment just to just kind of share the intention of this work that we're doing. So just take a moment. You might, with a smile on your face, close your eyes. And the joy that we can feel in this freedom. May this freedom come to anchor itself in our life. May we come to know ourselves as this freedom, to let go of the limiting conditioning that has kept us in small, little, tiny boxes of fear and not belonging. May we know our true nature and share it with others. And may this work that we're doing bubble out beyond ourselves to others in the world, so that more and more people begin to remember their essential nature, start to come home to it, let go of those scary, limiting stories, and that all beings can remember their beauty, their joy, their aliveness, and their good enoughness. Yeah, well, thank you, everybody. And I hope this is of service to you. And like I said, if you need more support, you can always go check out other recordings. You can access it through maureenbalanceer.com. And I hope you have a lovely week. It's beautiful. Spring is springing. And I'll see you next week.